the $1,000,000 question, who do you have winning that fight?
I mean, like I said, it's going to be a great fight. I respect both fighters. But because the way the styles contrast, I got Crawford stopping Errol Spence in the 7th or 8th round. Only because Errol Spence is the type of guy who will push you to your limits. The thing is, Crawford, to me, doesn't have a limit. He will go as far as you go. When he begins to fight back, and I'm not saying he won't fight in the beginning of the fight, but I'm just saying when he begins to pick it up, I think it'll just end bad for Spence. That's just easy as I can sum it up. You know what I mean? I don't like to go all the way into it because then I could keep talking about it for time and time. But I just think Errol Spence is going to push so hard that he's going to force Crawford's hand, and you know his hand will come out victorious because he is a sneaky puncher. You know what I mean? People think for some reason people think his punch is not real, but it's a real shot, and he's stronger than what people give him credit.
You're talking about Buck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was a wrestler. I mean, I know guys who I know guys who have moved around with him and whatever, and apparently he's like freak strong for his size.
Yeah. And I seen him in person. I could believe it from what I saw.
Well, so let me ask you this: I was along the same line of thought that you were with those two. Like it's close, but I'd have to lean towards Bud. But when I saw the size difference, now size doesn't always mean anything, but when you know how to use it, right? Do you think the size difference will make any difference?
It's really not that much different. If you saw when they was at the press conference, both times, Spence had on shoes that had like lifts in them.
That's what I heard, but he had like 2 inches on them.
Yeah, so he looked a lot bigger. But that night, he won't be that much bigger. Weight wise, he might be a little bigger, but height wise, it's not going to be a problem.
So you think that they're technically, basically the same kind of frame?
Yeah. No. Errol Spence is a little more heavier up top. He is heavier up top, but Bud Crawford has like lanky arms. He got a lanky build. He's not really like a muscular guy, but he is strong though. Like you said, from the wrestling background, and you know whatever else he work on. But I don't think Errol Spence is really that much bigger. I think he's a big welterweight, but I don't think he's that much bigger than Bud Crawford.
You think hits harder?
I think Bud punches harder.
You know, I kind of agree, but like, you know, I do a lot of polls and stuff like on my YouTube channel. There's thousands of people, so you get a good feel for what the public thinks. Yeah. And majority of people think not only that Spence hits harder, but that he's going to win. Like I'm talking like 75%.
Yeah, of course. Listen. I'm not mad at anybody who bets on Spence because Spence is a safe bet because he consistently wears you down. The thing is, when you enter with a guy who's just as hungry as you and just as strong as you, you know what I mean? Things can go left sometimes. So I'm just looking forward to see what happens, really. But I always said this: who have we seen Errol Spence punch one time and stop him? Besides Ocampo with a body shot.
Yeah, you're right. He breaks you down more so. Yeah,
he more so just whoops on you. So what that means to me, he has a thudding punch, and it's a heavy punch, but it's not like a crack. You know what I mean? He won't just crack you one good time and you go out. He can hurt you. He can hurt you for sure, and he will hurt you. And I just mainly what I believe about him, he consistently hits you in spots where he breaks you down. If he hit you in your hip 3 good times, I think that hip would be damaged. You know what I mean? He punched his shoulder 3 good times, I think the shoulder would be damaged. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I think that's where he gets his leeway. Like that's where he pulls off once you start damaging you in the body, stuff like that, slowing you down, making you think. You know what I mean? Right. And he is physically strong. He is.
I spoke with Chris Van Heerden, who fought Spence, also fought Boots.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, my first question, I was like, who hits harder, Boots or Spence? And he said something interesting. He said Boots hits harder, punch for punch. But he said that Spence, and I don't know if you remember the fight with Boots, but it was like stopped, I think, from a cut the first round. So him and Boots and Chris didn't have that much fight in one round. But he said the thing with Spence, and that fight went whatever it was, he said that every single punch Spence throws is just as hard, and he's just consistent with like that's what. And I've heard that from a few other fighters about Spence.
Yeah, he's a locomotive. It take a lot to stop him. And then then Boots is very accurate. Boots hurts you because he can punch you dead in your eye, dead in your nostril. You know what I mean? Dead in your ear. Like, you know what I'm saying? He hit you in direct spots. You know what I mean? So that's why it's different.
Wow. Okay. Do you think Boots right now could beat either of those two?
I think he got great chances because I think the youth is on his side. The biggest thing that impresses me about Boots is not what's in the gym, it's outside the gym. He don't Boots, the worst thing Boots might do is eat a snack or some shit. Like he don't smoke, he don't drink. You know what I mean? He not up all night, he don't party. You know what I'm saying? So that's what impresses me about Boots. That's why I would always bet on a guy like Boots. You know what I mean? Because I know he's not living dirty outside the gym.
Is his work ethic is crazy?
Yeah, his work ethic. I'm not trying to hype it up, bro. Listen, you know how a guy in the gym, you've been in the gym, right? You got and all that shit. You know how a guy start off round 1, round 2 might sound good, but then like the middle of 3 start to fade. 4 he fading. 5 it's like he bullshitting on the bag. 6 is like, all right, this is my last round.
Yeah.
So with Boots, the first round and the 15th round is going to sound exactly the same.
Okay.
So to sum that up, I'm not going to try to get all the way into detail everything he do, but the first round sound just like the 15th round.
Does he work crazy long round? Does he do like, I think Spence does like an hour or two because I'm cool with Derek James. Spence does like I think an hour straight, no break, even while he's fighting, they'll just get a squirt in the water bottle, but just keep going.
I mean, a lot of boxers, to me, they do shit like that because if we talk about boxing, then we got to remember there's an endurance sport. So you're going to have days where you do shit like that. I've seen Boots do shit like that. You know what I mean? So that's, to me, a lot of boxers do shit like that. It's an endurance sport. You know what I mean? You got to push.
Yeah, for sure. So what fighters have you